Hey, what's going on, everyone? With a lot of the recent updates, there's been a lot of changes to the settings and everything. Now that you can customize all your keybinds and a lot more customizability. Even with a new update, there's been even more customizability in the settings than we've ever had before in Phantom Forces. So today, I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown on all my settings and what each setting means so that you guys can optimize your game to run smoother, to run better, and for you to play better. We all want to be on top of the leaderboard. Let's be real. We want to set these things up to be as optimal as possible so that we can get to the top of the game as easy as possible. Think smarter, not harder. Alright, so let's start out in the game settings. I am going to strongly recommend everybody watching this, please turn that field of view up to 120. Crank it up. I think default's like 80 or something. Crank it up to the max. Now, you can play like 95, that's fine, but like, I'm telling you, 120 is the best. Like, statistically, objectively, it's the best. Field of view is pretty much how much you can see around you. So when it's at 120, you can actually see corners that you wouldn't have been able to see before. Not only that, but it also makes you look like you're running faster, which first off is more satisfying anyways. So like when you get a good clip, you can go back, watch it, and it looks like you're actually flying. Versus if you play 120 and then you go watch a FOV 80 clip, it looks like they're moving in slow motion the whole time, even though they're going the same speed. The higher the FOV, the more you can see. The more you can see, the more people you can kill easily. Very, very simple. With the toggle invert y-axis, however, I'm going to strongly recommend do not turn it on. It pretty much flips your mouse upside down. If you pull your mouse down, you look up. It's just really strange. Can't really recommend it for any good reason. Dynamic stance doesn't really matter too much. It's just like how your gun orients itself while in your hands. It's just a visual aspect. Doesn't really change anything. I have it on true. It's default. You can put it on whichever. It does not matter. Next up, we got direct angular input, which is a little strange, but pretty much when you're scoped in, like a full scope, you can like go and look behind you kind of deal. It's really strange. You're not going to use it ever, but if you want to have it on, you can. I have it on false just because I've never used it once in all 170 levels I am. But here's a new setting that's been just recently added and is definitely important. Toggle damage numbers. So when you hit somebody now, it actually pops up. The important part isn't what pops up though. Like the number value isn't important. What you want to see is the color that pops up. I have the damage numbers on true, and I have them on the smallest font size because I don't care how much damage I'm doing. If I'm using a gun, I'm expecting it to be this many hits. Like if I use a UMP, I'm expecting it to be a 3 hit to the body. For me, the important part with the damage numbers is what color. So dark red's a headshot, orange is a body shot, yellow's a limb shot. If you see yourself hit a limb shot with like a sniper rifle or something, you know you missed. So you got to aim either higher or to the right or to the left a little bit. It helps you adjust. You could crank them up to these huge numbers, but like then it just crowds your screen. You can't really see who you're shooting at. So if you're using like a shotgun or something and you hit them like 6 times with pellets that don't kill, your whole screen's gonna be clouded by numbers. You don't really want that. And then here is one more very, very new change, the stamina movement. I have it on true, so pretty much what it is when you're in game, you'll see a little stamina bar at the bottom, and that dictates what kind of moves you can do. Like you can't dolphin dive if you're out of stamina kind of thing. It's a different style of movement, and just displaying it, in my opinion, makes it easier. I prefer having it on. It's definitely new, and you can go either way, but I'm going to say have it on true. It's just easier. Mouse sensitivity, aim sensitivity. Mouse sensitivity, very, very cut and clear. It's what you see when you look around. It's how sensitive it is to look around. Aim sensitivity is while you're in scope, how sensitive is it? You always want aim sensitivity to be a little bit lower than your normal mouse sensitivity. The max aim sensitivity can be is 1.0. That would be the exact same as your mouse sensitivity. I'm not going to tell you what mouse sensitivity to use. That's always going to be personal preference, especially for a Roblox game. But my settings are 855 DPI on my mouse, in-game Roblox camera sensitivity to 0.15, and then in-game mouse sensitivity 1.238. That's mine. That's what I use. It's very specific, and you don't have to use this. It's just what I find the best for me. Typically speaking, a slower mouse sense is good for aiming, like sniping kind of deal, and a faster mouse sense is better if you want to be jumping around and using PDWs the whole time. It's like how in professional CSGO, all the pros always use a super, super low DPI, 400 DPI, and super low in-game sense because they want to hold angles. It just depends on what you want to do. If you want to do a little bit of everything, I suggest having somewhere in the middle. It's very simple like that. For keyboard, toggle double tap sprint. It's just if you hit W twice, you'll start sprinting immediately. I never use it. I just have it on false. It doesn't really matter. I think it's on by default. It does not matter. I would highly recommend that if you're going to try to sprint, if you're going to toggle or if you're going to hold sprint, I would recommend clicking shift or clicking one of your keybinds to sprint instead. Double tapping's a little inconsistent and can be weird to do some of the movement tricks. If you use a controller, you probably already know all these. It's just if you use a controller, not many people do in the first place because it's more or less, it's a little harder to aim with a controller, in my opinion. But yeah, that's why I have like all mine as like set to default because I never use a controller. For the misc, it doesn't really matter. I kind of leave them at defaults. The animation time dedication, the shorter the better usually, so just keep it on the low side. And then return to main menu on despawn, true. Pretty much always want that. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. It's pretty self-explanatory too. You just, on despawn, you return to the main menu. And then debugging the melee hitbox and bullet debug, really strange. I don't know why you'd use it. It's more for the developers to see. You can use it, like, it pretty much shows a red box when you swing your melee. So if somebody ran into that red box while you swung it, they would get hurt by your melee. That's how that works. Alright, moving on, we got display. And here's a big one, toggle ragdolls. I'm going to highly recommend you put it on false. It's on by default. There's two things you can do here. You can turn them off, and that way your game will run smoother. Sometimes people hide in ragdolls. It gets very annoying sometimes, so I have them off just because it's easier. It's easier to look at, it's easier to deal with, it's easier for everything. Now on the other hand, there's also the other path you can take, which is ragdoll fun factor, which when you shoot somebody, you have to have ragdolls on, by the way. When you shoot somebody, their body goes flying, and it's really funny, and that's why it's called fun factor. So if you want to have that on max, don't blame you. It's kind of fun. I have it on max sometimes, but it's a little congested if I have that in my video, so I don't usually run it. Toggle bullet holes, on the other hand, important to have on, because I find it very easy to tell where someone's shooting from. Like, you can see when somebody's shooting at you from the bullet holes. Like, if you get shot at by a sniper and the bullet lands behind you, you can see which direction it came from, which window it came out of, kind of thing. You can't always tell. Sure, you can look at a mini-map, but sometimes they're fully suppressed. You don't know. It's just easier, in my opinion, to have bullet holes. Plus, it doesn't really fog up your game too much. It's still pretty fast. Roblox particles and bullet casings, I have them off because it makes your game run smoother. The bullet casings, in real life, the gun ejects a bullet case. It does the same thing in here. It's more entities on the field at once. It could bog down your game if you don't have an amazing computer. If you have a gaming PC, go ahead, have them on. I have them off just to simplify what I'm seeing. For HUD settings, you're probably going to want to leave these default. Toggle chat, I always have off because sometimes, you know, people get a little crazy in chat. I don't know. I don't want no e-daters. You get me. We've all been here. We've seen stuff. It's not fun sometimes. So I just have it off. For other ones, ammo HUD, name tags, kill feed, radar HUD, round HUD, crosshairs, hit markers, everything on your screen, you're going to want those on. They're going to help you a lot. Hit markers, crosshairs, always on, and radar is an absolute must-have on always. The vote kick pop-up I have off just because it gets a little bit annoying because people always are false kicking, blah, blah, blah. But if you see it, you can still vote for it. Like, if you can see in chat that they say, oh, start a vote kick on blank for hacking, and you agree, you can hit Y. It still activates, it just doesn't show on your screen. So Y is yes, N is no, and I think J is dismiss. That's an easy way. It just keeps it off your screen, keeps it a little bit cleaner. Streamer mode hides everyone's names, very, very standard stuff, kind of like Fortnite streamer mode, which everybody uses because they're awesome. It just hides their names, you can't see who you're talking to. It's good if you're streaming, which isn't surprising, so you don't get stream sniped. For rendering, toggle day night cycle and shadows I always have on off because it gets really annoying when you're playing a map and it's night all of a sudden. Like, it starts out day, you can see everything, then it's night, it's dark, it's harder to see, you're at a disadvantage against people that are always on daytime. And global shadows, I find to be a little bit annoying because sometimes you can't see people as well. If they're a phantom and their whole getup's blue, it's a little bit harder to see in the shadows, especially if it's far away and you're sniping or something. So I just have that on false. It's just for looks. Similar to Call of Duty, you usually want shadows and stuff like that off. Toggle Roblox shaders, it'll make the game look nice. Just overall, I have them on because I don't have shadows on, so it doesn't really matter. Shaders more affect shadows. But shaders are definitely going to be much nicer looking than not having shaders on. The muzzle flash and smoke effects, I'm going to have off just because it's more particles, makes your game bog down, especially if you're a bad computer. And especially the smoke effects, because sometimes those can, like, distract what you're seeing. Like, when you throw a grenade and there's smoke afterwards, that can really, really hinder your ability to see behind that. And if you can see behind it and the other person can't, you can shoot through it. And oftentimes it can actually get you a free kill. So super helpful there. Tracer visibility through optics, I have on true because it's just strange if you're shooting the bullet and you can't see the bullet even though it's right in your field of view through the optics. So I have that on true. And camo skins, we always want to see the camo skins. Let's be real. They look sick. So, well, sometimes they look horrible. Don't ask me. I always want to see my camo skins, and it's fun to see other people, so I have those on true. And the weapon models in the lobby, it's just like you can or can't see the weapons. It's just strange if you have it off, to be honest. Like, it's just better if you have it on, if you ask me. It doesn't affect your in-game at all. It's just in-lobby. Now, here for the scaling settings, I have everything on default. I know a lot of people that do the radar at like 2.0 or something bigger than that. The radar is really important. You want to use your radar. Kill feed, not as important. Leaderboard, not as important. Chat scale, not important. So you can definitely turn those down, but you're gonna want, if you're changing something, you're probably gonna want radar to be bigger. And here with the new updates, we've been actually able to customize our keybinds now. So you can change it. You can change every key, every single one. You have full jurisdiction to do whatever you want. You could make move forward B if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. It's an option, which is super helpful because people have always been complaining about the dolphin dive button and the slide button being control. I am so used to default keybinds, I just leave them on default. But like, there's certain keys in here, like jump no vault is a super helpful key. I don't use it, but a lot of people can. The one big issue here is you can't set side mouse buttons. Side mouse buttons do not work. So you can't do that. It's really, really inconvenient. I wish you could, but it just doesn't work. Because I was going to set my dolphin dive as mouse button 2 and my slide as mouse button 1, but they don't work, unfortunately. But there's a lot of keys in here that some people don't even know about. Because you can actually equip your melee if you hit 3. Primary, secondary melee are 1, 2, 3. Some people don't know that. You can even equip grenade if you want to hit 4. I'll never used, but like everyone just hits G to throw a grenade. Like a quick melee attacks F, quick grenades G. That's what people usually use, but you can. There's a lot of customization. You can change your steady scope, spotting. Some people get annoyed by spotting being E. I just leave it as default. One more thing I'm going to say that you can definitely do is sprint hold versus sprint toggle. I have it on sprint hold right now, but a lot of people use sprint toggle, so you can, rather than have sprint hold, you can get rid of sprint holds, left shift, and turn it to sprint toggle. And this will make it so when you click shift, it'll automatically put you in sprint mode. You don't have to hold it down while you're running, which can be really helpful. But for the higher level movement kind of thing, you have to keep hitting shift again, so it gets kind of annoying. And then if you accidentally unsprint in the middle, it can mess up your chain and your momentum. So I would recommend having it on hold if you're going to do a lot of high level movement things. But if you're not, I would suggest having it just on sprint toggle. Click it once, you're running for a little bit, easy. It's kind of like Soldier 76's sprint, where you can just click it once and run. One more thing, a really helpful key is force respawn. So if you get stuck outside the map or something, you can use force respawn. I think it's default F5 or something like that. I said it's period because I'm never clicking there normally anyways. But pretty much it'll just immediately put you back in the lobby. You'll die, you'll lose a life, but you'll be put back in the lobby, and you can respawn in a more viable area first. Like, have you ever been on highway lot and you accidentally teammate spawn onto somebody way in the back when they have a sniper and you have a shotgun or something like that? You can just hit force respawn and then spawn on somebody closer. Super helpful. I use it all the time, so definitely recommend that. And then other than just the keyboard, you can also completely customize your controller keybinds. There's a lot of buttons that aren't being used because controllers only have so many buttons. So if you want to change it up, because you can slide control, but you can't slide normally, and you can't raise stance. There's no button to raise stance. So if you wanted to, you could all switch those. That could be very helpful. But again, I don't use controllers, so I'm not a controller professor. But yeah, that's everything as far as settings go, and that's everything up to date in 2024 so far. So if you have any questions, make sure to drop a comment, leave a like on the video, make sure to also drop a sub. It's super helpful. And we have just recently hit 5,300, so thank you so much to everybody. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to check out some of my other videos. We got a ton of builds, ton of gun ratings, top 5, stuff like that. Super fun stuff. So I'll see you guys all in the next video. Good luck out there. Go get on the top of those leaderboards. Peace.